Welcome to ANTI-REPTOID Radio, episode 14. This week, we were going to do our part 2 of the history of the world, but then a couple things happened.
Star Wars Rogue One.
Star Wars Rogue One came out, and apparently Carrie Fisher was in on some sort of secret, and she got assassinated on the flight. And now everyone's talking about this heart attack.
When clearly she was part of the dark Luciferian Brotherhood that runs Hollywood.
Yes.
You know, these people, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg,
J.J. Abrams,
they're Satanists.
through and through. They are unabashed in their worship of the Dark Lord. And this shows up in their so-called art.
Right, and you know, this isn't even art, this is trash. I mean, art, you know, it's timeless. It tells us something about our inner soul and how it needs to be saved by Christ.
It reflects reality. It doesn't try to reshape it in its image.
Right, so what we have here being pushed by the satanic Hollywood Illuminati is the Hegelian dialectic.
It's the Hegelian dialectic. And let me just say this. They're not all Satanists. They are also moral relativists. And these are two blocks within the reptilian Antichrist cult. However, they have distinct interests. And while they fight for control, they are both in agreement that they must first exclude Christianity from this contest.
Right, so, you know, Star Trek did the same thing. Star Trek was supposed to be about missionaries. It was supposed to be about good Christian spacemen spreading the word of Christ throughout the galaxy.
Yes, and then the original sin happened, or as they call it in Star Trek, the Prime Directive.
Right, exactly. Which is moral relativism.
Exactly.
And now, Star Wars, which is the false dialectic in and of itself of Star Trek, you're either in one camp or the other. There is no world outside of Star Trek and Star Wars. These are the two flagships of science fiction.
Yes.
All science fiction is derivative
Of this.
of these two categories.
Yes.
And so already we have a false dialectic set up. But then, further into this one, we explore Star Wars, and what do we get? We get evil versus neutrality.
Yeah, there's no good in this.
Right. Where's Christ?
Brother John, would you like to read from the Creed of the Sith? And, just to clarify, Brother John is not swearing this oath.
No, let's just make sure. I don't want anybody, editing this in a way where I'm reading this.
Yeah, don't come in halfway and say Brother John's a Sith Satanist.
Right, that's just stupid, right?
That's liberal, mainstream media disinformation.
Right. Now, the Code of the Jedi says, there is no emotion. There is peace. There is no ignorance. There is knowledge. There is no passion. There is serenity. There is no chaos. There is harmony. There is no death. There is, wait for it, the Force.
And where do I begin? First of all, they say this is from a galaxy far, far away, long time ago. But, for some reason, I don't think this creed goes further back than Helena Blavatsky.
Right, this is perverted satanic Buddhism converted for a Western audience.
Yes, this is Western Buddhism. This is the way that China is contaminating the minds of Christianity.
Right, and this goes back to Joseph Campbell and his satanic works about archetypical heroes, and that Christ is only one of these archetypical heroes.
Christ is the archetypical.
He is the archetypical hero.
Everything comes from Christ, because in the beginning there was the Word.
Right, and the Word was God.
Yes.
Right, so let's break this down. There is no emotion, there is peace. I'm pretty
Nihilism.
sure...
It's nihilism.
I'm pretty sure the Bible says Jesus wept.
Yes, and Jesus did not come to bring peace.
Right. He came to bring a sword.
Yes, and the bringing of peace is a repudiation of the teachings of Christ.
It's Islam, basically.
It's Islam. And look at this piece. There is no good and evil in Star Wars. There's good and moral relativism. But now let's talk about this. And moral relativism, what is that? It's just another place for evil on the spectrum.
Alright, so let's look at the next step in this creed. There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. Knowledge of what?
This is Illuminati doctrine. There is enlightenment. That's what they're getting at.
Which is denying Christ, basically. It's saying that good and evil are one, and that they, when they are unified, that is true enlightenment.
Yes, it's a synthesis of going to the one. It is not God.
No, not at all.
It is of this world.
Right, so next we have there is no passion, there is serenity, there is no passion.
There is passion.
There is one passion.
Exactly. There is no passion. Come on, give me a break. Next.
There is no chaos, there is only harmony.
Melkorian principles. This is string theory. This is going back to the view of the world as some orchestra that the demiurge is controlling.
Right, exactly. This is the harmony of the spheres at work, which is an Illuminati principle, because they know the Earth is flat, and they know that the spheres above us emanate certain frequencies and sounds.
Yes, and remember, the Jedi don't want good to win. They want good to be in constant struggle with evil. So, harmony, in their case, is the allowance of evil to thrive.
Right. Now, there is no death, there is the Force.
What is the Force?
There is no salvation in the Force.
I hate to break it to you, but the first 3 movies were trying to lull us into a false sense of confidence that the Force is something supernatural, something superior to us. But it's clear, by the time you get into the prequels, that this is just evolutionary doctrine.
Right, this is Darwinism. Midi-chlorians?
Exactly.
Like, that's just scientism.
Exactly. This is trying to take the majesty away from God's creation.
Right. And now, in the original trilogy,
You don't need to see
the
that.
Force was just some strange, abstract, Zen, samurai, voodoo,
And that's the message. They're trying to make you believe in it, then tell you this can be explained by science.
Right.
It's the false dialectic. It's a straw man to Christianity.
Right, so now, in opposition to the Jedi Code, we have the Sith Code, which, if the other code wasn't satanic enough as it was, or what we call Dark Luciferian Illuminism.
Yes, and I want to talk about something. This is going to sound like a very Christian code, and that's the point. It's supposed to kind of cast Christian lights on evil. That's who they're tying Christianity to. So they're saying peace is a lie. That's the first part of their code. And that's true. The religion of peace is a lie. There is only passion. There is only passion. And this is trying to trigger Christians to believe in evil.
Right. But ultimately what is under this code is the satanic philosophy of Friedrich Nietzsche.
Yes, this is very Gnostic. This is not Orthodox.
What we have here is an unholy inversion. The Illuminati love this, right? Because they're illumined and they're naughty.
They all want to be Christ.
And they love playing tricks. So what they're doing here, so this is what they say, peace is a lie. Which is true, because Islam is a lie.
Yes.
There is only passion. That's true, because there's the passion of the Christ.
But here's where it goes off. Through passion, I gain strength. I don't gain strength. Jesus gains strength.
Right, and that's all that matters.
Yes, God made his will manifest.
Right, and what's next? Through strength, I gain power.
Now we have the pyramid.
Yes, and then through power, I gain victory.
Yes,
And then through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.
I'm not free. I'm a slave to Christ.
Me too.
I have a Lord. I have a master. His name is Yahweh.
Right, I have risen to submission to my master Christ.
Exactly. Freedom from earthly beings is what a Christian should strive for, so they can be completely enthralled to their Heavenly Father.
So, what we have here is Satanism.
Exactly. Satanic inversion of Christian values.
And so, if you are watching this presentation and you are a parent, a Christian parent of a child, and you're wondering if these new Star Wars movies are okay for your children to watch,
as a parent, I wish to disagree with where you're going to go. You're going to say, don't let your kids watch it. And I tried to do that. They'll just watch them elsewhere. It's important that they see them for what they are.
Right. I suppose then you should watch these with your kids.
Yeah, and if they want to have friends over, yeah. Christianity is a faith of missionaries, and your first mission starts at home.
Right, and dispelling the lies of Star Wars is one of these missions. How else will you loosen the grasp of the Illuminati and the Hollywood Satanists who run our lives if you allow Star Wars to just go unchecked into your children's minds?
Exactly. So, by all means, show this to children. Kids need to know this.
Right. We have family-friendly presentations for a reason. We need children to watch this.
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes use some explicit language, but I get worked up.
Right.
There is passion.
Right, there is passion.
We are all suffering in the name of Christ.
Right. And, is there anything else that we need to cover?
I feel that this is brief. This is good. We can talk about... Is there any other minor details, characters that we should be on the lookout for? Pseudo-heroes? I mean, it's obvious that Lucas tried to put Luke Skywalker above Christ. If Christ can walk on water, big deal. Luke, white, the clear one, can walk on the sky. This is creating a new Messiah for the Age of Aquarius. And exactly, see? The Age of Aquarius, you're walking on the sky. It's the inversion, not walking on water.
Right. You see, what makes Star Wars so important to people is that ever since they, quote-unquote, killed God, which obviously they didn't, right? They just, they killed God to themselves because they're idiots.
Nietzsche believed he killed God. Who does he think he is?
Right. What an idiot. But, in this what they call death of God society, we don't have any more myths to live by, because they've thrown out the best. They've thrown out the only work.
I just want to say one thing. Brother John, when he says myth, he means a deeply important story. Not all myths are false. Not all myths are true. Christianity is a myth. It's the greatest myth, and it is purely non-fiction.
Right, it means story. And,
it is the story.
The good news is a story.
Exactly.
So, it is a myth.
Yes.
That's the Greek word for it.
I just wanted to point out that people should not mistake Brother John's learned vocabulary for heathenism.
Right. But Star Wars is a myth, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's purely fiction.
Right, but it fulfills all of the archetypal characteristics that are required to make a myth functional.
And do you see, in the first Star Wars, they deny Christ tacitly. How do they do it? Obi-Wan says, "Kill me, and I'll come back stronger than you can ever imagine." This is an allusion to Christ, and Obi-Wan never comes back.
Right, of course. And now what Star Wars does is it taps into our deep unconscious. And now, many people have spoken on the deep archetypal nature of Star Wars. But what it does is it enshrines man It is a human-centric.
Yes, but let me flesh out this idea of man. Because I'm going to go back to Carrie Fisher now. Back in the day, the Illuminati was trying to gain control of the feminist movement before it gained too much power. There was another wing within their giant Masonic structure. However, this created a problem, because since the feminists have taken over the Illuminati, Carrie Fisher now resembles rape culture. And much like people being painted out of old Soviet-era pictures once they've used up all use, Carrie Fisher has been deleted. She is now an icon of rape culture, she is no longer convenient to the Illuminati, and now she's dying on airplanes.
Yeah, I mean, people need to remember that Carrie Fisher kills Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. The Star Wars people don't want you to remember that they had men attracted to a woman dancing in chains. I mean, who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be? But now they have to delete all of that. And I'm saying, Carrie Fisher's dead now. The next Blu-ray release of Star Wars, she's not going to be dancing. She's going to be in some slave rags in the corner being boring.
It's despicable. They take out all the good parts from movies.
Yeah, because sexuality, men's sexuality in particular, is a threat to them.
Right. I'm a human being, right? Like...
Hell, even to a degree Jabba was.
Exactly. Jabba has to fulfill his needs too.
Yeah, and now we're meant to feel guilty because of that.
Right. Alright, well that's pretty much all we gotta say about Star Wars.
Stay tuned, we'll return to the history of the world next time.
Right, and don't be going and spending your money on this Rogue One trash.
Yeah, let Disney fail. They have a lot invested in Star Wars. Their cable networks are failing.
Yeah, like what is it with people who fight the Illuminati all the time? All day, fighting the Illuminati this, fighting the Illuminati that. And then they're going out and they're watching Star Wars, giving their money to Disney.
Yeah, I know.
Just the hypocrisy.
I mean, there was some good stuff put out through the Illuminati networks. But, I mean, I torrent They Live.
Right, of course. I'm not paying for any of that stuff.
Yeah, John Carpenter did something wonderful. But he's not benefiting from this new gospel. The Illuminati is turning their own anti-Illuminati propaganda to their own benefit.
All I'm saying is, this holiday season, don't give your money to Disney.
And let me just say this too. Holiday is a holy day. So whenever an atheist is always going to be an atheist who says happy holidays, say, I will enjoy these holy days, praise Christ.
Right. What? Yeah, they're holy days. Like, there's no way around it.
Not all of them are, like... I will let Hanukkah pass, but there are some other things happening around now that are not... that Kwanzaa.
Yeah, what is... like...
People have been calling us racists already, and that's not true.
That's not true.
Religion isn't race. But let's just...
Muslim is not a race.
It's our religion. It's an ideology of hate.
Right.